which is cloud computing, key trends in making BPO industry optimize its business process. And for this, I would like to invite Mr. Murali Yells, Vice President Cloud First Quality Engineering from Accenture in India. Mr. Murali has over 20 plus years of experience with a focus on building digital end user experience assets and offerings. He has a proven track record in innovation, thought leadership, enterprise QE/automation strategy, R&D, and consulting. As an author of multiple QE accelerators in alignment with digital trends, automation, AI, and ML based conversation bots, he possesses hands on experience from chip to cloud. Over to you, Murali, sir.
So, good afternoon. I will make it quick. As she has introduced, I'm Murali, and today's my topic is more towards cloud computing and the future of cloud and what tools and what cloud I have to choose and so on. So I kept a quick agenda here, which is the evolution of cloud, which I've been seeing from morning, and then how to pick the right cloud for me based on the business needs, and then key trends and solutions that we will talk about. So over the journey, we have seen the way how things changed pre-2000 versus 2010, right? So like Azure, AWS, like AWS 2010, I believe, is launched, 2006, sorry, was the first to launch, and then the disruption started, right? Everybody wants to run behind which cloud, right? So then Azure and Google Cloud and so on, right? So there are cloud providers out there, right? And they already have invented in a way that we can pick and choose three things like the storage, the computing, and the network, right? So you call it SaaS based services, you can pick, you call it PaaS, then infrastructure, platform, and infrastructure as a service. Based on this, right? So development as well have changed continuously. The developments and innovations happen in this area, right? And how do I leverage this right kind of technologies, right? How do I marry cloud computing with an edge computing? So what kind of things that I can accomplish with this and so on. So for picking the cloud, these are the characteristics. While you see the scalability, resilience, cost, effectiveness, right? So various aspects, right? The first thing comes to customers is my data safe, right? So and where is it? In a multi-vendor cloud ecosystem, right? So do I have to have some hybrid mechanism? So like I have my data safe in a private cloud, and then some things where computing is not that critical, I can do it in a hybrid cloud, right? So these are very key decisions which we do from technology and business perspective, right, during the strategy phase itself. And the challenges will be more, right? There are hidden challenges with all these cloud vendors. So billing is not a opaque thing for us, right? So they say it is, but that's different the way how it is. So you will have to scale up and scale down. There is a sudden surge in demand of, let's say, HR is recruiting heavily, and then there is a additional computing capacity that you will have to load, right? Then you will have to scale up and scale down. So cloud offers that, but then what am I going to pay for it, right? So how long? So when do I switch on and switch off? So then there is this compliance aspects of the data, right? So industry-wise is different. For healthcare, you have HIPAA, right? And then generally security, OWASP standards. So all these standards compliance is very important, and constantly we have to evaluate whether their certifications are latest and current to the market, right? So when it comes to sustainability, then organizations have taken the Go Green initiatives, and then we will understand why cloud is going to play a key role, because there is long gone past the huge servers, that refrigerator kind of physical things that we used to have. Now everything is cloudified, and you have centralized most of the things, not everything, but most of the things in this post-COVID era, right? So there also sustainability is measured, and there are debates on how do we measure it. There are, let's say, if I have to take an example, World Bank wants to give loan for a, high-tech city like my hometown Kakinada, right? So it will check what is the carbon emissions in various aspects. There is a calculator available. So that is the prerequisites, right? So there are many things that we will have to consider, and the challenges which you see in the bottom right is not specifically to BPO, it's across, right? So people are worried about these areas, the security, lack of resources and skills, that's another thing. So am I ready, right? The tools I'm adopting is fine, but then is my engineers ready to adopt these things, right? So how am I going to help them, right? So these are the things which you need to consider, and there are many more unpredictable things when you choose and get into the things. When it comes to network, like unpredictability can happen, pandemics can happen, or some earthquakes can happen. So do I have a replicating mechanism, right? So is a mirroring happen, right, across the geographies. So global clients would prefer that, right? So and so on. And key trends, cloud computing and BPO journey, right? So how am I adopting these latest trends? So and the pros and cons, right? So let's say hybrid cloud, I was saying, is an approach which we also talk about, private, public, and various clouds. So when I choose these clouds, some of them are pretty expensive, some of them comes cost-effective solutions, but then there is a vendor locking which happens. So you need to be cautious on those aspects. Vendor locking, you will not be able to come out with these platforms in over a period of time, the data and things like that. So in the journey, we will pick various aspects, right? So AI and automation is playing a key role. If you all have agreed upon. Last year we were thinking, is it safe, right? Responsible AI, right? So did I train my bot right? And Kore.ai is one of the platform which we have seen for financial this thing. It's fantastic, and we have evaluated. I have done personally, and it's right. So conversational chatbots are important, and they have to give the right message. You know, of late we see bots gone rogue, right? So they don't respond me right? I ask which, you know, it doesn't know which card I'm asking about the details. So certain data plays very key in the analytics aspect. So data and analytics are key again. So we will have to use the right monitoring mechanisms throughout, whether it is a camera in your phone or you know, restricting certain things. So there are aspects that we will have to look at. Then the key trends in cloud computing and the use cases you can see within the BPO industry. Just take HR itself as a use case, right? So everywhere, right from recruitment, you know, you can leverage the power of computing, the power of network, right? So with 5G, 4Gs, right? So you will have to decide whether the data is on the edge, that means right in the you know, device itself, or you will push the data, whether it is audio, video, or call, right? So and the social media data. So you will have to decide the latency aspects. Performance and resilience is very key. So you know, performance and resilience is very, very key. You will not like to see a delay, for example, in traffic, Bangalore traffic, right? So I started my home and then some accident happened. There are cameras everywhere. But what if the camera takes its own time to upload the data and the cops come by the time the body is taken away by an ambulance? Versus the data computation happens then and there itself in a camera, there in a device, edge device, and then alerts, sends auto alerts, right? So this is something which you will have to trade off based on the criticality of these use cases. So we also have various upcoming technologies, not to be worried so, but then quantum computing is another way of thinking how complex things can be solved. It's also legally vetted out, and I mean, legal discussions are happening. It's not vetted out, not publicly accessible to you, me, but it is in certain forums, and you know, government agencies are trying to explore. So what is quantum computing in general? Let's say if I'm using bits and bytes, my encryption is in 128 kilobits, right? So I have certain combinations to crack, probably a 30 days if I said I can crack, right? Whereas if you use quantum computing, its computing power is more, it's called not bits and bytes, it's quantum bits, qubits, right? So that's where you will use some 50% of the time is saved in quantum computing. So there is a threat, but however, technology can be used for good as well to block frauds, right, happening and so on. So technology has both edges, right? So we will be able to do that way. So next is something which you can see on how I have combined all these private public aspects, right? So there are several aspects from distributed to centralized. So when you look about centralized, there is definitely certain benefits, combined benefits that we as an industry will. We call it as cloud continuum, right? So in the continuum world, this what happens is you're bringing various things together, right? So you are able to use the right cloud, whether it's public or private. You're able to use an edge, you're able to use 5G, and so on, right? So people say now cloud is going to be centralized, right? So and that's where everything is happening. So how do I bring all these pieces together from decentralized to centralized is cloud computing, right? And the values. Now, should I worry about cost or the value? So cloud cost is no more there. So cloud value, what is it giving to me, right? So that's where maximizing the cloud values we can see. There are, in general, the conclusion is what things to get right? So always have to worry about efficiency, security, scalability, and various other aspects that we have looked about. And in general, the companies are pushing themselves and thriving forward to utilize cloud as much as possible. Post-pandemic, we have seen, and definitely there is a long-term growth, and it's safe. Yeah, thank you so much.